Yo, this is the summer for TV.
Yeah, I would say that this is the most excited I've been for TV in a while.
I know.
You know, just all the shows that are coming out, like House of the Dragon, The Boys, just that alone is great.
I know, and they're going to be airing back to back, which is going to be fantastic. I think it's been a pretty solid year for TV so far. There's been a lot of good shows that I've watched.
What have you been watching?
Well, throughout this year, I liked the Mr. and Mrs. Smith show that came out back in February. One of my favorite shows this year was on Prime called Expats, which is...
Yeah, I heard a lot about that. Was it good?
It was fantastic. It was a new project from Lulu Wang, who made the movie The Farewell, like back in 2019, I think.
Okay.
And it was a terrific film. I really loved it when it came out, and so I was very much looking forward to this new project of hers, and it was great, and I'll probably watch it again eventually. But yet I just kind of feel like this year hasn't had that culturally impactful show yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where I feel like for True Detective, it could have
God.
been that. But
don't even
the
talk to me
series
about
was a
that
little
show.
bit it was very subpar.
Yeah.
A massive disappointment for that series. A series that I really love as well, but
It was confusingly bad.
it was very confusing.
Just all of the plot holes,
Yeah.
the poor acting.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. I like the acting in the show, but
Who?
Jodie Foster, Callie. I don't know who the new actor was in that. I like
The
like
Native American woman?
Yeah.
You liked her acting?
I did. I thought she gave it a great performance. I
Oh
thought she was
my
really
God.
good. She
I
worked.
think we need to cancel this podcast.
You think so?
Yeah, based on that
Well,
alone.
I mean, we're not talking about True Detective.
well,
so
that
that's
was
a good
Loose Leaf
thing.
Media. We'll see you next month. We'll see you next week.
But no, I like John Hawkes and the kid that played John Hawkes' son in that show too.
I like
Yeah.
their connection.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the show to me.
Yeah, the white man was your favorite part of the show.
Oh, you're gonna pull that card on me?
Hey, you're the one that wants to
pull that
cancel.
card on me? Hey, come on. Hey, it's not my bad that she sucked and she's Native American. You can be bad. We have enough black people and people of color in Hollywood where we can say that you suck.
That's fair.
You know,
sure.
we've reached that threshold.
I'm gonna let you think that.
It's true.
So let's bring it back to the book.
Is that going to get cut?
No,
Okay.
probably not. But it's been a decent year for TV. There's been some good stuff, but I think this summer is really about to see things just really ramp up with, like you said, House of the Dragon and The Boys. And I just watched the first 3 episodes yesterday of the new season of The Boys, and they're spectacular.
I still have to watch them. Maybe I'll watch them tonight.
They are spectacular. Already off to an amazing start.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's so good already. The social commentary, as always, is on par. The characterization, it's a character drama at the end of the day, and it's very slow paced, and it's building up a lot of tension. And so far, it's just terrific.
They definitely keep taking the next step towards just more complex story arcs and great character development for each season. You know, like from season 1, it's a great first season for a show, but it does feel maybe a bit surface level with Homelander, where it's okay, evil Superman, but just to see how complex Homelander's characters become is by season 4 is really interesting.
See, that's what makes The Boys so great, and what just makes for a really good television drama is the complexity of your characters. Like the dialogue is great, and the social commentary is really great, and the visuals are just awesome in the show. But it's really just the characters that make it so good. And I draw a lot of comparisons in terms of its satire towards Succession, because I think Succession is one of the greatest television shows of all time, and
probably my favorite. One of my favorites.
One of the things that makes Succession so great is its satire and how much it's commentating on, the class divisions and the tone deafness of this 1% family, and that type of commentary exists perfectly in The Boys, but it's a superhero show for people that hate superheroes.
Yeah, and for you are really looking forward to The Boys, and I think we're probably going to talk a little bit about The Bear too.
Oh yeah.
But I'm probably more excited for House of the Dragon, man. I was so in love with season 1, and I keep rewatching season 1 because it's just such great acting, and it's a great prequel to Game of Thrones, which I watched it during the pandemic. I was not a fan during its original running.
Sure.
But man, I think that first season of House of the Dragon is probably better than any season of Game of Thrones. And I'm excited to see season 2.
That's an interesting take. I think it's a season of television that's as good as the best seasons of Game of Thrones. Like season 2 or season 4 or season 6, which are probably the even ones.
You know what?
With the exception of the last season.
So I actually really love the first season of Game of Thrones, man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I like the sort of mystery of Stark figuring out just the lineage of the king's kids and stuff, like who are the actual parents.
Oh yeah. Well, the character development in that first season alone is just spectacular, and it's only expanded upon in further seasons. But I think for me, House of the Dragon probably ranks near the bottom of the ones that I'm most excited for this summer, simply because one good season doesn't guarantee another good season. You feel me?
Sure.
And that it hasn't built up that consistency where I feel like I can trust it for that momentum to continue, because the first season was so shockingly good. And after the disaster that was the final season of Game of Thrones, I did not have those types of expectations whatsoever going into the first season of House of the Dragon. So regardless, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the season of The Boys. The Bear is probably my number one that I'm looking forward to over the summer here, and I've already set aside time where I'm gonna binge through that whole series in a day. But House of the Dragon, we're only 2 days out now. We're recording this when we're like 2 days before House of the Dragon is coming back, but my excitement still could not be higher, because I just know that probably when I turn on that first episode of the new season, I'm already gonna be so sucked back into the world of Westeros.
It's a great summer for TV.
It is. I'm really looking for right. The movies are gonna keep coming. It seems like we got a lot of plans over the next 2 months for movies that we're gonna be going to see, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I love TV, and we'll probably do a recap at the end of the summer of like all the shows that we've watched and talk about probably like by the end of the summer. House of the Dragon could be my favorite season of television, for all I know.
Sure, yeah. I rarely feel like HBO misses with TV, except for
the one show that everybody watched from HBO this year that they missed with.
Which one?
True Detective.
True Detective. Yeah. That just
I need to watch The Sympathizer though too. I heard The Sympathizer was fantastic.
Okay, is it over?
Yeah,
this first season's over?
It concluded a couple weeks ago.
Okay, but it's based on the book. Will they have another season?
I don't think so. I don't know, because I've been reading the book for a couple of months now, and that's why I haven't watched the show yet. So I don't know where the cutoff point will be unless they just go through the entire book for it.
Yeah, a lot of exciting TV.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I still haven't seen X-Men 97 though.
It's fantastic. God, that's one of my favorites.
That's something I gotta watch now. After this, I need to watch it.
It's one of those things where it's so dramatic and it's such a character drama now that you would not like. The writing is so much more mature than any television like X-Men show, and it's some of the best X-Men media that I've ever seen. Just period. It's such a good story. The character development is amazing, and the visuals, the animation are so spectacular.
Man, I love when showrunners actually do great things and show that they actually love the source material and make a good show, man. I think that's what was the downfall of Game of Thrones, where the showrunners, their hubris showed, and they just started writing their own shit, and it was god awful,
just terrible. I don't even want to talk about the last Game of Thrones season.
I mean, you know what? Maybe we should have I actually would love that as an idea for an episode.
Well, yeah, we'll come back at the end of the summer, and we'll probably recap House of the Dragon and get into a whole
why not?
thing about Game of Thrones at that point, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the legacy now of Game of Thrones, and we're getting back into it. It's, I don't know.
For a show that had, even though I didn't watch the show during its original run, the amount of conversation for that show just everyone knew at least 4 or 5 people just in your circle that was watching that show every Sunday.
100%.
And like, especially I was in college during the time. So just tons of fans of that show I knew in college. And for a show that has that much excitement, that much fandom, it's crazy that I don't hear people talking about it anymore.
No,
you know, really. Like House of the Dragon is out now, so you hear people talk about Game of Thrones by,
through the lens of House of the Dragon,
right? But I feel like just a show that has had that reach, man, that final season really took the wind out of their sails.
It really did. That's why the anticipation for House of the Dragon wasn't as high as it could be.
No, yeah.
But what's weird is it did end up having some of the highest viewership numbers of any show that HBO had. So I don't know if that's entirely true or if I'm just lying for no reason.
Well, maybe. Hey, you've been known to do that, and that's okay. We still love you. Yeah.
Thank you. Don't say we. It's you.
No, it's we.
You're speaking for everybody.
This podcast is an intervention. And we're all here.
I got tricked, huh?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, that's cool.
And it's all being recorded. It's all going to be sent out.
Well, can we get to that part after we're done talking about the Bad Boy series and black cinema?
and you know what? Speaking of, like, if you are interested, the audience I'm talking to now, if you're interested in any TV shows you think that we should watch or you want us to talk about on this show, please send us a message to our email, looseleafmedia95@gmail.com.
We look forward to hearing from you because as much of big movie guys as we are also very big TV guys.
Oh yeah.
And since it's going to be the summer of TV, now's the time. What are we going to be missing? I don't want to miss anything.
Don't want to miss a thing.
No, we do not.
And while you're there, contribute to our leaf pile, where we're just gonna take any one of your questions or comments and read them out on this podcast on a future episode and answer your question. So that's, again, looseleafmedia95@gmail.com.
Yes, we are. And with that, hello everybody, and thank you so much for returning for another episode of Loose Leaf Media. This is our podcast, or as we like to call it, Letter Blacks. And I want to give a really quick shout out to the person that came up with that sub name for us, Letter Blacks, Mr. Marshall James. He is a fashion designer. He's a very good friend of mine. Go ahead and look into him. He's got a lot of cool stuff for you guys. And today we are here to talk about the Bad Boys franchise and a generalization of black cinema for Juneteenth.
Hell yeah.
So, Romanus, I gotta admit something. I just watched all the Bad Boys films for my very first time this week.
Wait, so you hadn't seen any of the Bad Boys movies before this past week?
I think that I'd seen portions of the first two back in the day, but not enough to say, not even close to enough to say that I actually seen the movies. And when I was rewatching that, or just watching them earlier this week, I was realizing I don't remember a single thing about these. I don't think I've actually seen these movies.
Well, the issue is that these movies have just huge gaps of time in between them for it to be a franchise with Will Smith, probably one of the most recognizable American actors. It just, there's a lot of time in between each movie. I think between like the first one and the second one is 7 years, right?
1995.
Yeah, that's our year, baby.
That is our year.
Hell yeah.
And then the second one came out in 2003, so is that 8 years?
8, okay, yeah.
God damn.
Bro. And then I think there's more time in between 2 and 3, right? It's almost like 15.
It's almost 20 years or something.
Damn, man. They were really taking their time with these movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're pretty consistently enjoyable, I would say, in their own way. And, like, the consistency isn't as... I mean, there's more films than, like, Fast and Furious.
Oh, my God.
But the consistency is, definitely just all over the place there. There's, like, 2 or 3 actually good films in that franchise.
Real quick, which one of those movies?
Oh, well...
From the Fast and Furious franchise.
Nice. There's, like, one good one, and it's Fast 5.
Stop it. Yeah. I love Tokyo Drift, baby.
Nobody is ever going to agree with you on that.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Send us to our email.
Yeah, send this to the email. Correct us. Fast 5 or Tokyo Drift. I want to hear this.
You know you prefer me. Okay,
no, you don't.
Tokyo
Just because
Drift.
Han had a cool car doesn't make it the best movie.
All of the cars were cool. There's Bow Wow. I have no idea who else.
I don't remember his car.
I don't either. I think it was the Hulk car. He had a truck
that was what it was.
Yeah, dude, I love that movie, man.
Okay, I mean, you remember the Hulk car. So
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, it's Fast Five. So
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, we'll let them decide. We'll let
Sure,
everybody else decide. But Bad Boys, it's fun. I think they're all very consistently enjoyable movies. Some are probably better than others, but I don't know. Maybe.
I think that if you're thinking too hard about it, you just don't get the movies. They're supposed to be enjoyed. You just sit down, turn your brain off, and watch a fun action.
They are very turn your brain off films,
right?
And like after we went and saw The Watchers, and we had mentioned this in our last episode, we were like, we definitely should have gone to see Bad Boys 4. And it was substantially more fun than The Watchers was.
And by the way, it's Davis's fault that you didn't get this episode earlier.
They got that on the last one. I admit to it.
It's important to take responsibility during your intervention.
I take the responsibility.
Hey, man.
Don't you? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm orchestrating this intervention, man.
I forgot that's what this is.
This
is going to be a recurring theme for the rest of the episode. I'm apparently in the hot seat, which is fine. It's only named after me. Whatever.
I did that.
Yeah,
one day we're going to get into the origin of the loose leaf name.
No, so true.
But these movies, I recently rewatched them too, and you enjoy them at different levels for sure, depending on just the type of person you are. Like, I prefer the first one. My sister, just the second one is her comfort film, where like,
I get it.
If Razia, shout out to my sister Razia, if she's watching this movie, Bad Boys 2, I know that she's in a mood. She's like, I got to get my shit together. Yeah. Like she'll watch it at any time of the day, like whatever point it's at. Like, yeah, Bad Boys 2, she loves, right?
I love that. Everybody needs their daily dose of Gabby Union, so I feel it.
Yeah. She also loves the first Bring It On movie, which Gabrielle Union is in.
I know that.
Oh, did you? Yeah, whatever.
I did.
No, we are sidetracking a lot. Anyway. No, so then out of the first 3 movies, which one did you like the most?
Bad Boys 2, for sure.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. So like let's go into let's go through the series a little bit here.
Okay.
So the first one came out in 1995. I think both of us can definitely agree that the absolute core strength of all 4 of these films is the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Yeah.
Without their dynamic, these movies don't mean anything, and they are so pointless at that point.
And we should add context that during this time, these are 2 black men who have just both led successful sitcoms. Will Smith with Fresh Prince, and then Martin Lawrence with Martin. Which, man, Martin is really funny. And Fresh Prince, everybody knows, right? It's a part of everybody's childhood. And so you get these 2 actors together, and they do have great on-screen chemistry throughout all of the movies. Yeah. You know, it's it is great casting.
It is they're fantastic together in this film. And the first Bad Boys movie was directed by Michael Bay, who everybody knows for better or worse. But I had recently figured out that this was his first movie. For whatever reason, I thought The Rock was his first movie.
It looks like his first movie.
It does. You know, it still looks very Michael Bay, but I don't really think a lot of his trademarks really started to take effect until Armageddon came out.
Oh, for sure.
And I like Armageddon for all of its, goofiness and over the top sequences, but this was a solid starting point for a movie because I think what it does is it does give us like increments of things that we come to expect from him. A few explosions here and there, some really poor attempts at humor and in the wrong places. But, I'd say that the first Bad Boys is one of the funnier Michael Bay movies, like that's genuine.
That actually hits.
That actually hits. It's genuinely funny.
Yeah, when I rewatched the first Bad Boys movie, as far as Michael Bay is concerned, I actually felt like it was pretty tame
It is.
for a Michael Bay movie.
And we'll get into it with the second one, too, in terms of when it loses its tameness and all the things I start to hate about Michael Bay start to be on full display.
I was telling you earlier, the first one is my favorite because it's more serious than the other following movies, and I don't know, like I like that grittiness. It does feel like they're doing actual detective work in the first movie. I think but there's still jokes, there's still comedy. Yeah.
I think I'd say with the second one it feels like the grittiest to me. It's just that the jokes are worse in the second one.
There's just wackier shit.
There's a lot wackier shit, but the balance in the first one is worse, I would still say. The balance between humor and action is not as good as it is in the second one.
So is it more...
But the jokes are far worse in the second one than they are in the first one.
Well, you know what? Can we just bleed into the second one real quick?
Yeah, please.
When they're driving the truck with all the dead bodies from the morgue, God. One of the dead bodies like falls off of the truck.
I'm just sitting there like,
they have a camera showing the dead body being run over by a car. It's like, what the fuck am I watching?
Why are you showing this? Is that what this needed to be?
The other one that I love and remember at the end of the movie, when they're trying to break into the cartel boss's mansion, and they're wheeling in a casket.
Oh my God!
And Will Smith busts out of the casket and starts shooting people.
I feel like that was like there are certain things that you can tell that Michael Bay was kind of a trailblazer for in terms of like film scenes and things that people do in cinema. But the second one I like the second one the most, probably. Maybe, I don't know, because the action is spectacular in that movie. The set pieces are great. There's this gunfight that's like 20 minutes long on the highway or on the side of the road.
They have like 4 car chases.
I know, and like the shootout scenes in the second one to me are like on par with like some of the best shootout of all time, probably, in the movie Heat.
Wait, whoa,
like,
what?
I actually believe that. I think the shootout sequences in Bad Boys are rival Heat in a lot of ways. I don't think it's nearly as iconic, but the staging is fantastic, and it looks great, and it's all just like the practicality of it looks fantastic. Like from the first moment, the opening of the movie, when you see, this is why this is perfect black cinema, because even though this is directed by Michael Bay, the white guy, our 2 lead characters, which I don't think there's a lot of, black action heroes that you are very recognizable, especially in terms of actors, other than like, I don't know, Shaft or somebody like that.
Yeah,
but R.I.P. Mr. Richard Roundtree.
Oh yeah.
But there are just scenes in this movie where I feel like the action sequences the action is just like better than ever in this movie, and the ante is just upped so much in this second movie, and for that reason I think it might be my favorite one out of all of them. But then there'll be an amazing set piece, and then it'll transition to Martin Lawrence looking at 2 rats fucking each other, and that's where I was like, I fucking hate this now. We were so close, but Michael fucking Bay has to put this dumb shit in this movie.
The second one, I love the scene where the opening scene when they're fighting the Ku Klux Klan. They're just
that was what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Will Smith's rolling in the ground like shooting at people.
Yeah, this is why this is perfect. Yeah, exactly. This is why this is perfect black cinema, because it's like you open your movies with your 2 black heroes.
Yeah,
just immediately undercover with a KKK rally.
Yeah.
And then
with
they just
with the KKK robes on.
Exactly. And then they just unrobe themselves. Yeah. And then just Mexican standoff all of them.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's awesome. It's funny. And it's a great, like, after 8 years, it's just like, I thought it was a perfect way to reintroduce these characters. Like, when you contextualize that time gap, it's like, yeah, these are the boys. These are the bad boys right here.
Bad boys, bad boys.
Immediately out of the gate, the chemistry from the both of them is fantastic. And the thing I just really fell in love with in the first, 10 minutes of this movie is the sound design. I just thought the sound was really good. Just the way...
Which movie?
Just Bad Boys 2.
Okay,
specifically with the way, the guns are going off and everything. And it sounds very, 2000s type of sound effects in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I found it pretty charming, and it worked for me.
So then, almost 20 years later, they come out with Bad Boys 3.
Yes.
I watched it maybe 2 weeks ago on Hulu for the first time, because when it first came out, I just wasn't feeling watching old Martin Lawrence and old Will Smith in a Bad Boys movie. But did you like it?
It was fine.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciated the switch up of the style, and it was the director. What were the directors' names?
It is
Adil and Bilal.
Adil and Bilal.
Adil and Bilal, duo directors, and they took over the reins from Michael Bay with this third one, and I like their style quite a bit. I don't know anything else that they've done as filmmakers, but I like their style. They kind of enhanced the vibrance of the first two movies without kind of like stepping on the toes of Michael Bay's style. And it's the style feels like a more colorful version of what Michael Bay has, because Michael Bay is very flashy, but there's a very original visualization of that sweaty atmosphere of Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Michael Bay always, like, his characters sweat a lot in his movies. And I think those
like,
atmospheric,
like Megan Fox in the Transformers movies.
Sure. Those atmospheric characters.
It's true, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean.
It's true.
I know what you mean. I mean, the exploitation and shit from Michael Bay.
Oh my god. Yeah. Even never mind.
Which is funny because Gabby Union doesn't feel very exploited whatsoever in Bad Boys 2.
I guess we know Michael Bay's taste.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's always been weird. He needs to stop. But I like that the new directors kind of have this like original sense of visualizing that atmosphere of Miami, because it still feels like that hot and sweaty Miami.
Yeah.
Just not specifically that Michael Bay take on it.
Yeah, I actually feel like the wackiness from the second Bad Boys movie was not as present in the third. Like there was still comedy, but they're not like rolling over dead bodies. It's nothing like too crazy.
It's a little bit toned. It's definitely toned down, which I appreciated with these two, with 3 and 4. But at the same time, I still felt like the third one was a little bit more dull than the first two.
Sure.
In terms of like entertainment value, because the action is good, but I don't really feel like the story became interesting until like the third act, when it's revealed that Will Smith has this illegitimate son that we've never heard of. Not that I expect consistency from these movies, but like that's what made the story interesting. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I kind of actually want to see how this ends, because up to this point, it's thematically just about these two characters from 20 years ago that are aging out of this profession. And I'm like, yep. Kind of could have wrote that myself. Like, let's make something. Let's give them something new to deal with, and they didn't really do that until the third act. So.
I will say that Martin Lawrence is the funniest I've ever seen him, probably except for Martin the TV show. In the third one, he's so funny to me in the third Bad Boys movie. It's
kind of funny because he's kind of like the tame one of the two of the characters in all of these movies.
Especially the first one.
He's
a family man.
Because he's established as that. And I like how his character stays that way through the entire series. And Will Smith is just kind of like the playboy, adrenaline junkie type.
Yeah.
And they really play with that dichotomy a lot more in the third one, which it was kind of nice, because like Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus, he was like, I want to retire and I want to put my feet up. But then you are like, this ain't going to last. Because this script is going to write itself,
and we have to save Will Smith's career.
Exactly,
we got to come out with like 5 of these, man.
Exactly,
come on,
dude. So the third one was still, a lot of fun and enjoyable, and I liked the third act of the movie, and the action is still pretty decent. But what was your full thoughts on the third one?
I mean, probably it wasn't as entertaining as the first two, but it was definitely more entertaining than I thought it would be originally.
I would agree.
I do like the contrast that they did a montage between Martin Lawrence's character retiring versus Will Smith's character
getting ready.
Yeah. when like the
stick shift,
the stick shift. Will Smith does the stick shift, and Martin Lawrence is doing like the recliner.
Lazy boy,
and he just man, that was funny as hell.
That was some
man.
funny editing. I like that.
They did a great job with that. So these are solid comedy movies.
Yeah, I mean the problem is it's like they're buddy comedy movies, like in the vein of something like Lethal Weapon or something like that.
Yeah,
but so they're buddy comedies, but they're action comedies. So they're trying to balance the two of tones together, and I like the action sequences in the movie, but I'll never really say that for any of those movies it struck the perfect balance between action and comedy. Because there's there's a lot of dry points in all of these movies, I would say, where it's like no action and no comedy happening. And I honestly don't really think that I felt a sense of investment in the full plot until the fourth one. But for most of these movies, the plot, just the general plot, are pretty hit or miss, and I'm like, I don't care, because none of these movies have a ton of consistency. It was cool that for like most of them, they had the same actor who was also playing a lot of the supporting characters too, like Joey Pants, the captain, Joe Pantaleo, great actor as well. But also the person that played Martin Lawrence's wife in the movie.
Well, she got recast.
She got recast in the fourth one, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad, but the new actor still did a good job.
Yeah.
But like it was just a little jarring to see that. And I was like, oh, because I got so used to her being the same actor for all movies.
Well, the most impressive one is probably Marcus's...
his stepson.
Well, not stepson, son-in-law.
Son-in-law, excuse me.
Right, yeah. Because they bring him back for 2, 3, and 4.
That was nice because that's why they brought him back so many times, because they're just like, oh, we did the best joke in this entire series in the second one, so we got to kind of pay tribute to that in the following two.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith interrogating this kid at the doorstep before he takes Martin's daughter out or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because this is why I'm saying that these movies never strike a perfect balance between action and comedy, because that is by far the funniest moment in any of these movies. That interrogation moment. It's great. But it's weirdly timed too, because it goes from a rather like composed conversation between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and then it just takes this jarring shift into very crude comedy of these guys just interrogating Martin Lawrence's daughter's boyfriend. And I wish that the movie committed to more jokes kind of like that, on that caliber, because it seemed evident that they could have. Ultimately, it's just a case of let Martin and Will just riff. And they banter a lot, and that's the highlight of all these movies. But at the same time, it's like the balance is never there for me for any of these movies.
Well, let's get into the review of Bad Boys. Ride or Die. They should have done For Life this movie.
That's what I thought, right?
What the hell?
That's what I thought. I was just like, it kind of seems backwards for Bad Boys for Life to be the one before this.
Or maybe they could have done Bad Boys Forever.
Bro.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
Wait a minute. Like, For Life would have made more sense because it's got 4 in it.
Yes. I don't know. They
is that what you were originally thinking?
I thought that,
okay.
but this one, Bad Boys 4 is Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Yeah, but they use those terms because it's like their mantra.
Yeah,
they're just like Bad Boys, like we ride together, we die together. Bad Boys for Life. That's their mantra, which means they got to think of something new if they do another one of these movies.
Which they probably will.
They probably will. This one made a shitload of money.
We'll get to that.
That's why we're doing this review. Yeah. Also, because we realized that the box office returns for this movie, it came in like number 5, I think, this year of like most successful movie for the domestic weekend. Opening weekend in the domestic box office. And then I was just like, oh, that's pretty substantial because there's been some decent competition this year.
Yeah.
And after Furiosa just bombed horribly, which is very sad, I was like, well, that's interesting. Maybe we should go check this out. And so here we are to talk about Bad Boys 4.
I'll read the summary.
Please do.
4 years after the events of Bad Boys for Life, Bad Boys 3, detectives Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett must join in a mission to clear the name of the deceased Captain Conrad Howard, after Captain Howard has been accused of corruption tied to drug cartels. Davis, what did you think of Bad Boys Ride or Die?
So I know I said that the second one might be my favorite, but this one also might be my favorite.
Okay.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
And I do have, it's not like by any means the greatest thing I've ever seen, and it's not even like cracking top 5 favorite movies I've seen this year. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of fun with this movie because my expectations were pretty in check for it. I knew what I was getting into, and I just wanted to go to the movies and have a good time, and that's exactly what I had. But, the recency bias is kind of there because I just saw it. It was the first one that I actually saw on release in a theater. But I thought the action set pieces, the directors really crafted something unique with this one. But at the same time, there was such an obvious influence of the Michael Bay style. Because, like I said, Michael Bay's been kind of a trailblazer in terms of the way he directs action, and he always is trying new things in his set pieces. Like when Ambulance came out, he was really implementing all these drone shots in the movie, and they looked spectacular.
And there's a ton of drone shots in this movie.
But Ambulance has so many drone shots, and it was very unique for that film. And now a lot of action directors are doing this. I don't know if you saw The Gray Man.
Yes.
From the Russos a couple years ago, but that used a lot of drone shots. Did not like that movie at all. But you could see that this is catching on to action directors now, and this new Bad Boys movie, the directors for it employed a lot of drone shots in it, and I thought it was good. It worked well. I thought it really helped create a sense of geography that was happening in these enclosed spaces when the action was happening, and particularly the ending action sequence I thought was great because they had the rig that was also attached to Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as they were doing things, and they had cameras attached to the weapons themselves. It almost gave a first person POV.
First person shooter in a Bad Boys movie.
And I thought there was a lot of creativity that was put into the action set pieces in this movie, and that's why it's definitely up there as one of my favorite ones out of all 4 of them.
I would say that it's obvious that they wanted to take a step up from the third movie to the 4th one, right? Like they really did a good job with packing in just a lot of comedy and action into this movie to make it their own. I definitely would say that they should direct the 5th one if they're interested.
I'd say might as well. I mean, they're not really doing anything wrong. They're keeping their own visual style, but still it feels like a Bad Boys movie. This
movie felt like the least serious one in the whole franchise. It felt like, to me, and I think you would disagree, I told you this earlier, this movie has so much comedy. I feel like the only times when it's serious is when the villain is on screen, which is maybe 5-6 scenes. But other than that, man, this movie is just straight comedy. Even during serious moments, Martin Lawrence is cracking a joke.
He is. Because he's such a different character in this one that he was in the last one.
He's a different character.
They switch roles. Yeah. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, the characterization of both of them are the opposite of what they were in the last movie.
Yeah.
Where Will is still just on this adrenaline high and is going through this midlife crisis in the third one, and Martin is just I'm done. I want out. I just want to kick my feet up and watch TV all day. And in this one, Martin's let's go. Let's go. Yeah. And Will's let's chill out, let's take it down a notch.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, a decent enough switch up to keep it fresh, but I was just okay, they're just playing the opposite ends of each other now.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, if you try to think about these movies too much, it's just not going to be effective.
No, it's not as stupid as Fast and Furious, but it's it's not as smart or entertaining, I would say, as Mission Impossible.
No, hell no. but Martin Lawrence, I would say, carried this movie, and Will Smith should be thanking Martin Lawrence for even just he every time he's on screen, he's so funny, man. Even just to break up just to provide levity in certain serious scenes, especially
I think the
final one. You're just you think that this movie is gonna have a serious moment, and then Martin Lawrence says something, and it is funny. Or even the first scene where this was when they're in the convenience store.
Oh yeah. That was in the trailer. And
Martin Lawrence has his face pressed against the screen and look at these hot dogs they look like the hot dogs from the Seinfeld episode.
I know, yeah.
and it looks like they're gonna make you sick if you eat them. And
I know, like, they look horrible.
And he's got his nose pressed against the screen like a dog. He's like, I want one of those. It's man, this guy.
He was definitely the silliest that he's ever been.
Yeah.
Where it's like, again, he's usually kind of playing the more relaxed and laid back guy out of between the two of them, him and Will Smith. But in this one, it's like he's really going for it with the comedy, and he is providing the most sense of levity out of all of the two of them, and it was fun. I liked him a lot in this movie. Will was definitely a lot more laid back again in this movie, but still liked him.
Yeah, he was
I think
good.
it's just nice to see Will still acting in these like big budget movies.
Yeah.
And it just ultimately the box office receipts don't lie. It just proves it's like this man was not in any trouble from the jump. Yeah. And you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the slap.
Oh boy.
I said it. The slap.
This movie was a hit.
The slap.
You said it was a hit?
Yeah.
That Will Smith movie was a hit.
And all y'all should be happy because this will be the point when we well, you know what? Let's transition into spoilers now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's get into it.
Don't give a fuck.
You know what? This movie was fun. Go check it out. If you
out.
like the Bad Boys movies, then there's no way there's no reason that you won't enjoy this one too.
I will say though, maybe go with friends.
Oh yeah, go with friends.
And it's okay to like glance at each other's like just whisper in the movie like this shit's silly. You know, just I like or you know even
like,
better.
These guys goofy.
In my notes, this is a goofy ass movie.
It is a goofy movie.
It's a goofy ass movie. I will say though, I was regretting that I didn't have anything. Like I needed a beer.
A beer would have been nice.
A beer or four during this movie would have been great.
Or four, yeah.
Just relax.
4
kick
beers
your feet back.
for 4 Bad Boys.
Oh.
Bad Boys not for life. Bad Boys ride or die.
Oh boy.
Yep. Okay, we'll transition into spoilers now. Spoilers. So everybody should feel happy now because Martin Lawrence slapped Will Smith like 4 times in this movie.
No, this was like 6. Yeah. Bro, I probably wasn't real slaps, right? But damn, the sound on those slaps
it probably was. It was like, yeah.
Man, the sound, and they kind of set it up in the movie before because it's like, in a past life, you were my donkey.
Yeah. I don't know what all that crazy shit he was talking was about.
We should also say that.
Remember that visual at the beginning with on the beach,
bro,
with the goddamn like macaw that was sitting there.
We should probably introduce this better. So at the beginning of the movie, Martin Lawrence has a heart attack at Will Smith's wedding, and that
was sad. He had to have a fucking heart attack when they were doing the wobble. I was enjoying.
His heart was wobbling. His heart was doing the wobble.
I was enjoying it. I'm just like, oh, they're getting down. Yeah, everyone's doing the wobble.
Down on it.
Yeah,
and you have a stroke. No,
only out of black.
How you gonna do it when you really gonna want to dance? No, wow, I lost my track. No, but
you're explaining Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence has a heart attack after eating a terrible hot dog from a 7-Eleven. And he goes to the hospital, and during his sleep, as he's recovering, he has a premonition, and it's just a dream sequence where he's on a beach, and there's a bird on a branch, and he sees Captain Howard, who died from the previous movie, and he just tells Martin Lawrence, like, everything's going to be okay, you're going to have to make a decision, or whatever, I don't know. And it just sets up more jokes during the movie where now Martin Lawrence just feels like sort of at peace. Like he just can't even die. Like he knows that there's maybe some future for him. There's something that he has to do. So he just takes more risks, is feeling a little more zen, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Which was fun. It was fun to see his character because it was just such a huge contrast with him in the last movie.
Well, dude, you know what? I would say that even that dream sequence was a huge contrast to any of these movies.
I would agree. That's what you mean when you're just like, this is a goofy ass movie.
It looked like remember in Black Panther when they're talking to the
I know exactly
ancestors. Mm-hmm. That's what it reminded me of, and I was like, yo, this movie is bonkers already, and we're only 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
They show Martin Lawrence's ass on a roof in Miami. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
And then they commented on it like we didn't just see it.
Yeah. hey man, your ass is out.
That just seemed like something that Will Smith has said in every movie to a character.
Hey man, your ass is out.
It's like, let it be.
Let it be.
There wasn't, honestly, there wasn't enough of Joey Pants in this movie as Captain Howard.
Well, he's dead.
In any of them, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Like he's just such a great actor, and his character is just like so funny, and like also adds to the bantering between them. And he's kind of like that. He's kind of like their like that M character from
from James Bond
or something. he's where I don't really understand how this particular organization that you're running works, but it's clearly not like your regular kind of police precinct. They're like this special forces division of the police, and I never really get that. But the movie doesn't care either, because in every single scene he's just like, you guys just go out and do what you do best. I don't give a shit what you do,
and don't fuck it up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and then he just downs a bunch of whiskey and Pepto-Bismol in his office and just becomes a Buddhist.
Yeah, very very weird movies.
Weird movies.
But you're not supposed to take them seriously.
No, and they're what's nice about these movies is they're like, I hate to make the Fast and Furious comparison constantly, but they're easier to not take seriously than those movies.
I think it's because of Martin Lawrence. Like, he's just constantly like just cracking jokes.
Yeah, he's pretty witty.
Yeah,
but
witty.
Well, his timing in terms of his comedic
sure.
timing.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're fun, and plus the action sequences feel a lot more practical than most of the Fast and Furious movies. I think in the first Fast and Furious movie, there's like a lot of practicality to the action sequences, which is why it's decent, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like by the sixth one, they're just on a fucking endless runway, and this is all just a bunch of bullshit.
How did you feel about the action in the fourth movie, in Bad Boys 4?
I loved, like I was saying, I thought it was really well choreographed and staged, and I thought it was great. I mean, everything still looked really practical.
The ending sequence where they're like shooting the guns, and it's the first person shooter, and they're showing the transitions, like Will Smith throwing the gun.
He threw it at him. I was like, this looks cool. This is really unique.
It's a goofy movie, but I appreciate care that they have in certain scenes.
There's actual care still here in this movie for how silly it gets.
Right. The drone is like dropping a bomb on a sniper. Like it is goofy, but it's also like, wow, that I appreciate that they thought a lot about jam-packing this movie with so much comedy and so much action.
I agree.
It's to the point where there are parts in this movie where there's so much going on that it does make me scratch my head. That's why I say I should have just had a few beers before seeing this movie, because then I could have just not cared.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of cameos in this movie.
There are.
And some of them are funny, and others don't land as good for me.
Like which ones?
Okay, so I want to start out with the ones I actually did enjoy. John Sally, he's the tall guy with the glasses. He's shown up in a few of the movies, a former Heat player. That was so funny when like we're in spoilers, right? So I can say that he gets killed, and he's so tall. He's a former basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Like
he was in the second one.
He was the first and second one.
Yeah. Oh, was he in the first one?
Yeah, he's the guy in jail that's like doing the computer stuff, right? He has the jail suit on.
That's right. Yeah, I just remember him in the second one. The second one. I do remember him in the first one though.
But when he's murdered and they're wheeling out his body, his legs are hanging off of the dolly that they put the dead body on. So that was funny.
That was funny. Yeah.
I also a cameo in this movie, Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah. She's in it for like 3 minutes.
But dude,
but she killed every moment.
She says something that I won't even say on this podcast.
Like you gotta listen, you gotta see the movie.
You gotta see it, and you gotta.
It's wild.
It's shocking, and it just goes that
how straight she says this line.
Yeah,
and then you're waiting for like there to be like a ha ha moment, but it's like all the characters in the room after she says this are like, wait, are you serious?
It is played so straight, and it just goes back to how this movie just keeps pushing the envelope for its comedy.
Yeah,
it will just always get raunchier.
It was not. It was nice because like they make that joke last because she's again only in the movie for like 3 minutes, and then she says it again to another person. It's like offer still stands. Holler at me. But even in the same scene, Joyner fucking Lucas just walks into the room.
Dude, you even said to me, "He's like, is that fucking Joyner Lucas?" Yeah.
I'm just like, why is Joyner Lucas in this movie?
Oh yeah. What's a cameo that didn't land for me as well? I have this.
Did you not like I don't that meme guy that makes those like are you serious faces, but he never like says anything. He appears in the background briefly after one scene.
It took me, he does the like,
and he does the thing that he does in all of the memes.
He does.
I don't know his name.
I don't know it either. He's the shrug guy.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
I thought it just took me out of the movie.
No, I feel you. I was just like, because we acknowledged that to each other in the theater, and we're just like, wait, what?
But yeah,
is that one guy?
It was, it was one of those things where there's so much in this movie that there's gonna be some stuff that makes you scratch your head. For example, the albino alligator. What the fuck was that? Why was that even necessary?
That was the greatest setup in this movie because Alexander Ludwig was like, there's an albino alligator at this location that all the bad guys are at, and legend has it, it's still there. Mm-hmm. And he just goes, fuck that. And I'm pretty sure I mouthed the same thing that his character says. I was like, fuck.
Because it's like 16 feet long.
Exactly. And I'm just like, well, this is like the most obvious setup, incoming payoff I've ever heard. But, I'm going to be really pissed now if I don't see that albino alligator. And we did. And it eats some people. And I was satisfied.
And they kind of go above your expectations because it also bites Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
You expect it to definitely kill one of the villains.
Yeah, and he kills like the secretary dude.
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, yeah.
I know
Ian something. I'll be completely honest. I've known this guy's name for like 20 years and I've never been able to pronounce it.
It's actually pronounced Ian Griffith.
Ian Griffith.
He's Welsh.
He's from Welsh?
Yeah, he's from Wales.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from Wales.
Well, okay.
Wales.
Well, anyway.
He's from Wales.
He's a good actor. I just like...
Is he?
I specifically know him from the Fantastic Four movies, and I thought he was really good as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, he has the look of Mr. Fantastic.
He does. He's good in those movies.
But also, he's
the secondary bad guy in this movie. He's the most obvious bad guy reveal ever.
It's like whenever there's like a sort of prominent actor that just comes into a new franchise and he's presented as this good guy, you already know, like, oh yeah, he's got something to do with the
especially
villain.
If he's like playing the boyfriend of the former ex-girlfriend of one of the lead characters. You're just like, well, he's probably dirty or something.
It wasn't secret at all.
It wasn't a secret, but again, don't expect this movie to be that shocking.
Well, but speaking of the villains, Eric Dane as James McGrath, the villain in this movie, was pretty good.
I liked him. I think he's he's the most memorable villain, I would say, out of all these movies.
Ooh.
I like Peter Stormare in the second one, but he wasn't the main villain of that movie.
No, not at all. There were like two, basically.
Yeah, there were.
I actually like the villain from 3, the Mike Lowry's witch mistress.
Of the Bruja.
Yeah, that was... I just like Martin Lawrence keep referring to her as just the witch. Yeah. Like don't fuck witches, man. Like just it's that.
No, she's cool. I liked her.
That was fun.
Still more memorable. I don't even remember who the villain in the first movie was.
I can see his face. He's a French guy, but I don't.
No idea.
He was in other movies, but it's not worth even trying to remember.
Yeah, but I liked Eric Dane as the villain a lot.
Yeah, he was good. He was intense.
He was good. I mean, like from the first scene he appears, I'm like, oh, this guy's. I wouldn't mess with this guy. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I'm like, this movie had one of the better plots out of any of them because it was very conspiracy driven. And I think a lot of franchise films always have to like that are like action based always have to get themselves to the point where it's like their main characters are like set up for some kind of a crime they didn't commit in that like A-Team style.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie was. They get like set up for like killing these guys, and then they have to go on the run, and then everybody thinks that they're working with Mike Lowry's illegitimate son, who's also kind of like a war criminal.
Yeah. I was shocked that Mike Lowry lets his illegitimate son escape. He just aided and abetted a criminal. Like, what the fuck?
I guess. I don't know.
That was shocking at the end.
Yeah. That was the only... See, that's why I liked that they brought his character back. Because I liked his character in the third one, and I liked the twist that his character was Mike's son the entire time.
Yeah.
That actually was the only time in any of these movies where I was... This is why I'm saying the plot doesn't kick in until the third act of Bad Boys for Life. Because I'm just like, oh, I actually did not expect that and did not see that coming.
Yeah.
And when they bring him back, it was nice. But it's kind of weird that like Alexander Ludwig and Vanessa Hudgens are in like 3 and 4 and they're like so high on the billing list for these movies, and they're like not really in these movies that much.
Especially in the fourth one, I feel like they're only in the third act.
They're in like 2 scenes in that whole movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like Vanessa Hudgens has like 5 lines.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I also have to mention, I was not expecting Charles Melton to be in the third movie as well, and I was sad that he also didn't come back.
Oh,
he was the
Asian guy.
Yeah, the other guy, because I know he's from Riverdale and shit, but like I saw him in the movie May December last year, and he was my number 1 pick to win Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars.
Wow.
Like even over RDJ for Oppenheimer.
His stock has risen above Bad Boys 4.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, it really increased the enjoyability of the third one for me, when I was like, oh, Charles Melton's in this.
Yeah,
I really like him as an actor.
He probably would have been good in this movie too.
Yeah, but like, I mean, he was also kind of in the trio of Vanessa Hudgens and Alexander Ludwig, so he probably just wouldn't have done anything this whole movie either.
And they don't explain his absence either.
They don't do that with any characters that never come back. Like Tia Leone in the first movie, she was like the femme fatale in that movie, sort of, but she's also a little bit like timid the entire movie because she's in a like really bad situation, and I liked her character in the first movie, but like she just kind of inexplicably doesn't return in the second one, and then we get Gabby Union, who is actually Marcus's sister, and then we don't get her back in any of these movies, and they don't really mention her. She
should come back for the 5th one if they do a 5th one.
That'd be nice.
I think it's
like
time.
I know that there's apparently that spin-off TV show that she's a part of that came out like several years ago, but kind of sad because she was like one of the supporting characters I would have liked to see return the most.
Just come back, Gabby.
I know, but let's bring back Alexander Ludwig and Vanessa Hudgens and have them continue to do nothing.
What should Bad Boys 5 be called? Bad Boys Survive?
Sure. I'm honestly, on like off the cuff, I am not going to think of one better than that. So
okay, yeah.
I'll like Bad Boys Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Why not? You know,
who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
Also, like, because of the slap, you know, a lot of people were really thinking about how's this going to affect Will Smith's career. Doesn't look like
it didn't.
No,
White people just got really mad about it, and they kicked him out of the fucking Academy the same night that he won his Oscar, which was also the same night he slapped Chris Rock
on international television.
Which will always be wild and crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and condone physical violence whatsoever because I consider myself a pacifist, but he probably fucking deserved it.
Oh, Chris Rock deserved being slapped. Yeah, I mean, just don't slap people, but don't talk about a person being bald, man. Come on, especially
don't do that.
Like,
and especially
you talk about your friends for being bald because that's your friend, all right? Like, I'm not gonna point at a bald person and be like, ha ha. Like, no, that's mean. That's terrible. I do that to my friend,
right?
That I love.
Exactly. Don't do that to your friend's wife.
Yeah. No. Hell no. Whoa. No. Hell. Yeah. Don't talk about anybody's spouse, man. Come on. Just And also, don't slap people.
Keep their name out your fucking mouth.
Oh, wow. Davis.
Yes.
Look at you. No, yeah, that was definitely...
You gave me a very intimate look just now. I don't know what that means.
We're intimate friends.
Yes, that's true.
It's an intimate moment because it's your intervention. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I really hate the uproar, especially now, like Stephen A. Smith and then Rob Schneider. Like,
I know. Like, who gives a fuck about what they have to say, though?
Also, bro, like, if Mel Gibson, Roman Polanski, and Woody Allen can still work in Hollywood, why can't Will Smith?
And what do all those people have in common?
Oh, yeah. They're white.
Oh, I was just going to say they wear glasses, but...
Mel Gibson does not wear glasses.
You've seen him wear glasses.
Shut up.
I don't know.
No, I mean, but like, dude, it's baffling to me that just people think that he shouldn't be able to work in Hollywood at all. Like, yeah, I can understand I can understand the ban for 10 years sounds like just a long time.
And like the street cred is for, like, when you make the comparisons between those three people, like, maybe the only person out of all three that has the most versatility is probably Roman Polanski. But Woody Allen makes the same movie every time, and Mel Gibson has never met a movie that doesn't have some sort of a religious motif attached to it, like, really heavily.
Are you telling me that Woody Allen can't make a movie that's not about neurotic white people?
No. He can't. He can't do it. He hasn't tried, but I don't think he can try because he knows he would just fail. But yeah, whatever. That's not the point.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hate just the grandstanding.
I agree.
And also, the slap proved to me it proved to me that I just love Will Smith, man. There's nothing this guy he could slap me and I'd be like, dude, you made Hitch. I love it. Slap me again.
Slap me again. Yeah. That was for Hitch. Yeah. Do the other side for iRobot.
I'm turning the other cheek for Wild Wild West, man.
Turning the other cheek for Wild Wild West.
Come on,
Men in Black. Give me all
God.
that.
Just, oh my God, this guy's been in so many. And dude, since we were born both in '95, right?
Yes.
I honestly think that. Can you name a Will Smith movie that you haven't seen?
That I haven't seen?
Yeah, just like
7 Pounds.
Oh, you never saw that?
I've never seen 7 Pounds. No.
Okay, okay, maybe that's not right, but I'm saying, like, just name a more popular actor since we've been alive, bro. In our 28 years, name a more popular actor. Name a more financially successful actor when it comes to their movies.
I don't know if I can do it, man.
He had 8 consecutive movies make more than $100 million.
That's massive.
Domestic. Mm-hmm. It's just, dude, yeah. And Fresh Prince. Come on, dude.
And of course,
you gotta come on. It's Fresh Prince, dude.
I mean, Will Smith is that guy. He always has been. I mean, his resume of films that he's done speaks for itself. You know, Independence Day, Enemy of the State.
Gene Hackman, classic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shark Tale, love Shark Tale.
Shark Tale was fun. I saw that in theaters.
So did I. And I had
a kid.
Same. Damn. And I had a great time with it. Pursuit of Happiness, Hancock.
Name one Chris Rock movie that you enjoyed.
Madagascar.
Is he in Madagascar? Oh, he's the zebra.
He's Marty.
Okay. Name one where you
Pretty
see
sure that
his
came
face.
out. I think that was the following DreamWorks movie that came out the year after Shark Tale as well.
Will Smith just comes before Chris Rock, man, in most situations. But white people love Chris Rock.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. So what was your question? Name one Chris Rock movie.
Name one Chris Rock movie that you enjoyed more than a Will Smith movie.
That I enjoyed more than a Will Smith movie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Come on, dude. Come on.
No,
now that's not saying that
I can't.
That's not saying that he should be able to slap Chris Rock. Like, I feel bad for how I'm coming off, but I'm just like,
who cares?
He
got
there's
punished. No issue. There's clearly that's the thing. There's clearly no issue. So Will Smith is all good. So we can say that was funny as hell now.
But you know what? You know what Bad Boys 5 should be, right?
Oh yeah.
Chris Rock should be the villain in Bad Boys 5.
100% agree.
And I think that
that would be probably the first Bad Boys movie that everybody goes to see.
Oh, that bro, those tickets
Those would sell it so
packed
quick.
seats, man. Just
like the day the trailer
theaters.
drops, it's gonna get like some of the craziest numbers for like viewership on a trailer, and then when tickets go on sale, them shits is gonna sell out.
I think that Chris Rock should just play a Jamaican like drug kingpin, and they're trying to get into the Miami scene. Yeah,
that would be awesome,
dude. Yeah, let me cook. Let me cook.
I'm gonna let you cook.
And just somehow, you know how like every movie has something to do with like Mike Lowry's just story. Like they're just Mike Lowry's connected to the villain somehow.
That guy's a mess.
He's a mess. Which I think Mike
needs
Lowry
to be a family man.
Mike Lowry's probably a drug dealer, considering he has a mansion as a fucking police officer. Yeah. Like just
he gets finally he gets married in this new one now, which is like finally.
Whoa, yeah. It's about time.
Yeah,
it's about time you settle down, Mike.
About time.
No,
Lawrence has been telling you this for 30 years.
He one of the funniest jokes is like, he's going to therapy. He married his therapist. Oh, physical therapist. That actually that was pretty funny.
That was good. The humor was pretty good.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, Chris Rock is the villain. In
Chris Rock should be the villain in incredible. Bad Boys 5.
Sony executives, if you're listening in on this podcast, do that, please.
You know what?
Trust us. This will get people in seats.
Maybe Chris Rock should just play Chris Rock in Bad Boys 5. And he's from an alternate universe, and he's come to kill every Will Smith in every universe. And
hey, do you remember when they were planning to do that crossover of Men in Black and 21 Jump Street?
I do remember that.
I actually wish that happened. That would have been awesome.
Or maybe
so now we just need to do 21 Jump Street and Bad Boys instead. And
that would be better.
Yeah, and that's how you get Chris Rock to be the villain.
So sure, because maybe he starts in L.A.
Yes,
and he's a Hollywood actor, Chris Crack Rock. and like the 21 Jump Street guys, like this guy's like selling a ton of drugs, man, in LA. Like what's his deal? And then somehow, so just somehow, right? Like I don't know. Look, come on, just bear with me.
I love this.
Right?
I'm sold already.
It's just like we got to find this guy, and he just lives in Miami, and so 21 Jump Street guys come to Miami, and then I would love 21 Jump Street and Bad Boys. Let's go.
I think we should do this. Sony, because you own both properties, bro. Like, do this.
Come on, dude.
Do this.
Let's go.
Listen to us. Listen to the Loose Leaf Media podcast. We know what we're talking about most of the time, like 25% of the time. I love this. Good for us. So clearly we're far off topic now, but this, I like Bad Boys. I like this series.
It's a fun movie.
They're
go
fun.
Watch it.
We got,
go with some friends, have some drinks before.
Again, there's not a lot of like black action heroes, especially duos like this. So I think that's partially why this franchise has, over the course of 30 years, there's only been 4 films, but that's why to this day it still continues to resonate with so many audiences too. Because it is refreshing in its own ways, and they're reliably entertaining. Yeah. I think all 4 of them are. And, just go into the theater, have a good time, have a couple drinks maybe, and just laugh and sit there in awe of some of the spectacle. Yeah, man.
Solid movies.
Yeah.
If you're just looking for a good time, and probably enjoy it better in a packed theater, like I said.
I would agree.
Yeah, just everybody's laughing and hollering.
I agree. Well, this has been our Juneteenth special of the Loose Leaf Media podcast, and apparently my intervention, I'd learned absolutely nothing, and I'm going to continue to do whatever put me in this intervention that I did in the first place.
You see what I deal with, people?
Yep, this is what he deals with.
Jesus Christ.
And as always, thank you very much to all of our people out there listening. Please, once again, let's hear what your rankings are for the Bad Boy series and your thoughts in addition to that. As we said before, you can go ahead and send any of your inquiries to looseleafmedia95@gmail.com. Just be sure to put leaf pile in the subject line, and we'd be happy to read off some of your comments and questions on the next episode. We had a great time today, as always. And thank you again to all of our listeners. We will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.